Well, good evening or good afternoon, everybody. Uh, I am truly honored to be here. I have some stories to tell you that are very, very important that will guide us, hopefully, for the future. But first, some preliminary remarks. Just as scientists have traveled with all deliberate speed to develop and create the mRNA vaccine technology, we, you and I, all of you, as a community, infused energy, creativity, and persistence in meeting the needs of justice, civil justice, through video engineering. We worked together, hand in virtual hand, plaintiff and defense counsel, judges, court deputies, court reporters, judicial assistants, and yes, in-court clerks, the Judicial Information System Department in the 17th, the jury pool organizers. We worked hand in hand along with Chief Judge Tudor and the other circuit court judges in the 17th to answer the call of this demanding and persistent pandemic. The work we have all done together offers hope for justice today, for now, and when future pandemics and other emergencies rage forward. ABOTA is dedicated, as has been mentioned, to the preservation of the civil jury trial. I'm going to go back and read the Federalist 83, Mr. Justice. Thank you for reminding me about that. That's very, very important. But ABOTA is a very strong organization that is dedicated to the enduring legacy and the future history of the civil jury trial. The Seventh Amendment is important. It means something. It cannot be diminished, especially by a virus. When faced with COVID, against all odds, all of us, you and I, everyone here, we have continued to promote successfully the civil jury trial. You have proven, you, all of you, have proven that justice will not be denied, and shown that even in the face of this tremendous challenge, James Baldwin, when he said, "Hope is born every day," was right. Hope was born when we realized we could go and do what we're doing with motion calendars and with special sets and my favorite calendar calls, non-jury trials, and hopefully jury trials. So let me tell you a story. Back in early March, I got worried and I did a video and I went to Judge Levinson. Judge Levinson, I will always appreciate that you let me bother you twice in court with that video. And I hung around and we talked about what was coming. You got me in touch with Chief Judge Tudor, and then he got me in touch with the Judicial Information Systems. And none of this would have happened without a gentleman named Orlando Garcia, who is here today. He is an incredible digital wizard. And there are other people throughout the United States that play the role that, try to play the role that Orlando did. I think Orlando was a groundbreaker. And as I said to the New York University Civil Jury Trial Project newsletter, I think that I'm certain that Judge Tudor is a national, if not the national leader in trying to use video digital technology to the advantage of the system. So one day, Judge Tudor writes to Zoom, and Zoom responded, I think it was about a week, maybe less. And amazingly, Eric Yuan, the CEO of Zoom, got back to Judge Tudor. It isn't every day. I mean, you don't get calls from, the big tech people, but Judge Tudor did. And because Judge Tudor took, along with Orlando, about 12 different ideas to Zoom, including some of the ideas that Jeff and I had and so forth. And the gentleman who Mr. Yawn suggested would be talking to us called us on a Zoom conference, of course. He wouldn't touch Teams. And what happened was that he spent about 35 minutes with us, went through all the ideas and said, every single one of those ideas could be done. And in fact, within a few months, he did one of the most important, that's moving tiles, so we don't all jump around. That company got my heart going because they listened to Judge Tudor. They listened to us. And so it wasn't just that Judge Tudor was working in the 17th for the benefit of everybody else. It wasn't just because all the judges, who I'll mention in a moment, were working to try to further the progress of civil justice during the COVID. It's that he went outside and helped courts nationally in order to help this technology mature to meet the demands of the courts. It was Judge Levinson and Judge Tudor that got us in touch with the NYU Civil Jury Project. And if you've never had a chance to read their materials and understand the very important work of Judge Drummond and others up in New York are doing, please take a look. We have a link on our website. Judge Drummond, we're honored that you're here today also because the role you play in informing the courts about different challenges, different opportunities is invaluable. And all of your people up there at the Civil Jury Project. I always had him as a friend, but I gained a real friend in Jeff Edelman. And I see your dad is online today. Let me tell you, Mr. Edelman, your kid's really something else. He's incredible. I think he drank caffeine for about 12 months. He never stopped. The ever-ready bunny, he was tired. He couldn't keep up with Jeff. And so we would bounce ideas across Zoom or the phone calls. We haven't seen each other since, I don't know, maybe Abraham Lincoln was president. But there was another person also that kept me in whatever kind of a balance. Ever since I was a young lawyer, I always looked up to this gentleman as not only one of the best lawyers I've ever met, but a walking encyclopedia of the law, and that's Joe Casci. An incredible person and friend who has kept me balanced in this. But I want to mention a couple other things and I'll stop. Because, Mr. Justice, as you know, lawyers don't like to be limited to 20 minutes. So I'll be shorter anyway. Orlando, I've already talked about you. We could not have done the progress without you and your persistence. Chief Judge Tudor, it's been an honor. It really is. Getting to know you. It's been fun getting to know you. And we've got a lot of work to do in the future. The jury trial is the fabric, one of the fabric of society. It keeps us together. And we can't let it be diminished by COVID, much less things like arbitrations or the costs of litigation or anything like that. It has a lot of challenges. Some of those challenges have been addressed and worked on by Judge Henning, who's a big advocate of helping jurors understand what the importance and making life easier for the jurors. All of the judges of the 17th were instrumental in helping us do what we're doing. Judge Phillips, congratulations, well deserved, as I wrote you. I remember we looked at options, Jeff and I and others, we looked at options at the 550 building next to our new courthouse to see if we could figure out, was there some physical way to do jury assembly rooms? Well, Chief Judge Tudor and all of you have proven you don't necessarily need to put 500 or 700 people if they show up into a jury room anymore. You can do it digitally. That is groundbreaking. That's a tsunami of change. So now I'll be thinking about other things in the future so that we can make additional progress. Judge Levinson, thank you so much for your willingness to listen and always being there. Judge Howery, the same, open-minded, just terrific. Judge Perlman, Judge Kuzan, thank you. Judge Frink, Uh, Fantastic. I hope you got that microphone I showed you during one of the conferences, because it makes life a lot easier. Judge Luzzo, I learned a lot from you sitting when we used to be in the old days, which was before February 2020. When you were on the bench, you taught me the difference between saying and not saying and or. And you taught me a lot about the English language there. And I miss you. But thank you for being here today. Eric Rosen. Eric was one of the people that was a groundbreaking presentation for the NYU Civil Jury Project. He did a mock jury trial. Brent Reitman, phenomenal. I'm glad you're our next president. I am honored to work, and we'll support you any way we can. But you were there with Dan Harwin, doing the hard work with Angie Castronovo and with Adele Blackmore and others to show that this can be done with a jury trial. Diana Santa Maria, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you and your leadership when you were president and your continued persistence in saying, go for it. Adele Blackmore, she also is one of the groundbreaking presenters for the jury trial, the virtual jury trial. And so it's really important. And so is Andrew Harris, very, very helpful. And for those that are outside our area, like Adriana Gonzalez, you partnered with Jeff and you did a fantastic job to bring Palm Beach into this. And Miami came into it also. We had presentations sometimes every week for weeks. We were fortunate enough to have the opportunity to train judges as well as lawyers. And in so doing, we learned ourselves what we could do. And I'll let Jeff Edelman take the credit for learning about virtual trial director and how that can really make a difference in having good trials. So Rebecca Brock, thank you for all that you've done. So all I just want to say in finishing up, I hope I haven't missed anybody. I know I think I did mention Judge Perlman. I didn't want to forget your listening and understanding about this project and all the others. There were other judges as well on the 17th. I won't go over everybody, but they all were helpful. That's why I say all. But because it is part of the fabric of our society, and because 2021 is still a challenging year with a new variant of the virus, and as we distribute the vaccinations and so forth, the need for civil jury trials on Zoom is just as pressing as ever. And Judge Tudor and everyone, I pledge to work with you. We pledge to work with you to try to make that dream a reality. We want to be back in the courtrooms. You've done some amazing things with your courtroom in terms of trying to adapt for hybrid trials, for example. We all want to be back, but Plan B is really good and has you some great advancements in terms of understanding the body language, not being covered by a mask where you can see the facial expressions. I had a hearing in front of a judge up in Leon Circuit Court, 4.5 hours. I never met the gentleman before. After 4.5 hours, we got to like each other because we could connect. And you can do that too on Zoom. So thank you. I'm very honored and touched. I can't thank you enough, and I appreciate it. And the work goes forward. We're not done.